The story of the Temam-Pakistan Railway project is one that represents not just the construction of a railway line, but the opening of a new chapter in Ghana's infrastructure development, its regional trade ambitions, and its long-term vision of transforming into a transport and logistics hub in West Africa. For decades, Ghana's transportation system has been heavily reliant on roads, with over 95% of passenger and freight movement taking place on highways that are often congested, overused, and prone to rapid deterioration. This heavy dependence on road transport has not only made travel expensive and inefficient, but has also contributed to high accident rates and delayed movement of goods. The idea of a modern railway that connects Ghana's largest seaport in Tema to its inland areas and eventually to Burkina Faso has therefore been on the minds of planners and policymakers for years. But it is only recently that concrete steps have been taken to turn that dream into a reality. And the Tema Mapakadan project has become the project begins at Tema, which is home to Ghana's most active and busiest port. Tema Port is the gateway through which the majority of Ghana's imports and exports pass, serving as the beating heart of the country's international trade. Yet, despite the importance of Tema, the rail network linking the port to the interior of the country had for years fallen into disrepair. The old Eastern Railway line, originally built during the colonial era, had long ceased to function effectively. Without reliable railways, goods had to be hauled by trucks and lorries through long, tiring, and expensive road journeys. This created bottlenecks in the movement of freight and prevented Ghana from fully leveraging its geographical advantage as a gateway to landlocked countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. In this context, the Tema Mapakadan Railway Project was conceived as the first stage of a larger vision to reconnect Ghana to its northern neighbors and to revive its railway system with modern, standard gauge tracks. Stretching over 100 kilometers, the railway line begins from Tema and makes its way inland, passing through several communities, industrial zones, and farmlands before reaching Mapakadan, a town located on the eastern side of the Volta Lake. This alignment was chosen carefully to ensure that the railway would not only serve cargo movements, but also open up economic opportunities for towns and villages along its path. The line has been designed as a standard gauge railway, which is a significant departure from the narrow gauge tracks that Ghana inherited from the colonial period. Standard gauge is the modern international standard, allowing trains to run faster, carry heavier loads, and eventually connect seamlessly to other international railway networks in the sub-region. The adoption of standard gauge marks commitment to future-proofing its railway system and ensuring that its infrastructure is built for the long term. Funding for the project was secured through a loan facility from the Export-Import Bank of India, valued at about $447 million. This financing arrangement underscored the growing role of India as a development partner in Africa. The Indian construction giant Afcons Infrastructure Limited was contracted to execute the project, bringing with it decades of experience in complex railway and infrastructure works. The decision to partner with Afcons and Exim Bank of India reflected Ghana's strategy of leveraging bilateral relations to secure infrastructure financing at relatively favorable terms. It also showed how Ghana was positioning itself within the broader global competition for influence and development in Africa. With China already heavily invested in railway projects across the continent, Ghana's choice to collaborate with India was not only about engineering and financing, but also about balancing international partnerships. From the very start, the project faced challenges that tested the resilience of planners and contractors. The terrain along the route was varied, cutting through urbanized areas, farmlands, wetlands, and rocky hills. Extensive feasibility studies had to be carried out to map the alignment and ensure that construction would not lead to major displacements or environmental damage. In some sections, land acquisition became a sensitive issue as local residents resisted relocation or demanded higher compensation. The government and contractors had to engage with traditional leaders, opinion leaders, and local assemblies to resolve these concerns. This community engagement was critical because in Ghana, as in many parts of Africa, land issues can easily derail major infrastructure projects if not handled carefully. Despite these challenges, progress continued steadily, and the Tema Mpakadan Railway project gradually began to take shape. Modern railway sleepers, tracks, and ballast were imported and laid along the alignment. Bridges and culverts were constructed to allow the railway to cross rivers and streams. Stations were designed at key points to facilitate both cargo handling and potential passenger services in the future. One of the most striking features of the project was the emphasis on modern signaling and communication systems, ensuring that the railway would not only be strategic. Mpakadan is located near the Volta Lake, Ghana's largest inland water body and one of the largest artificial lakes in the world. By ending the line at Mpakadan, the government ensured that cargo and passengers could be seamlessly transferred onto ferries and barges that ply the Volta Lake, linking to northern communities such as Yeji, Makango, and beyond. This multimodal approach, rail plus water transport, was a deliberate design feature to maximize connectivity even before the railway is extended all the way to Burkina Faso. In the long term, however, the plan is to push the railway line further northward through Ho, Yendi, and other towns until it reaches Paga at the border with Burkina Faso. From there, it will connect with Burkina Faso's planned rail line to Ouagadougou, creating a continuous standard gauge corridor from Tema Port to the Burkinabe capital. The benefits of the Tema Mpakadan Railway project are expected to be enormous. For Ghana's economy, the most immediate advantage will be the reduction of pressure on roads. Every day, hundreds of heavy-duty trucks travel from Tema Port to various destinations in Ghana and beyond, carrying containers, cement, steel, fuel, and agricultural produce. This relentless traffic not only damages roads and increases maintenance costs, but also contributes to traffic jams, pollution, and accidents. With the railway in place, a significant portion of this freight can be shifted from road to rail, lowering transport costs, reducing road maintenance expenses, and enhancing safety. Railways are far more energy efficient than road transport, which means that the railway will also contribute to Ghana's climate and environmental goals by cutting carbon emissions. In addition to cargo, the railway holds the potential to transform passenger travel. Although the initial emphasis is on freight, the infrastructure has been designed to accommodate passenger services as well. Imagine being able to board a modern train at Tema or Accra and travel inland in comfort, bypassing traffic jams and road hazards. For many Ghanaians who have only known long, tiring bus journeys on narrow roads, the railway promises a new way of experiencing mobility. This shift could have profound social effects, allowing families, students, and workers to travel more easily between regions. Beyond Ghana's borders, the Tema Mpakadan line is part of a grander vision of regional integration. Landlocked Burkina Faso depends heavily on the ports of Ghana, Togo, and Côte d'Ivoire for access to the sea. Currently, much of Burkina Faso's trade passes through the port of Abidjan, but once the railway to Tema is complete, Ouagadougou will have a direct, efficient connection to Tema Port. This will make Ghana more competitive as a trade corridor and will cement its role as a logistics hub in West Africa. It will also enhance political and economic ties between Ghana and Burkina Faso, fostering closer regional cooperation. For ECOWAS, the regional bloc, such projects are vital for realizing the long-standing dream of integrated transport networks across West Africa. Of course, no large infrastructure project is without criticism or debate. Some observers have questioned whether Ghana can sustain the financing and operational costs of modern railway projects. Others have raised concerns about delays in construction, cost overruns, and potential underutilization if cargo volumes are not as high as projected. However, the general consensus is that the railway is a necessary investment, even if the benefits take time to fully materialize. Infrastructure often requires patience, as the returns are not always immediate. As the project approached completion, excitement grew among policymakers, traders, and ordinary citizens. The sight of modern tracks being laid, stations rising, and bridges completed was a visible sign that Ghana was serious about reviving its railway heritage. For older generations who remembered when trains were a common sight in Ghana, the Tema Mapakadan line symbolized a rebirth of the railway era. For younger generations, it was an introduction to a mode of transport they had never truly experienced. The symbolism of a train gliding out of Tema port, loaded with containers bound for the hinterland, captured the imagination of many. It represented modernization, efficiency, and connectivity, all the qualities Ghana has been striving to achieve. The government has also highlighted how the railway will stimulate economic activity along its corridor. Towns and villages that once seemed far removed from major markets will now be within reach of modern transport. Farmers will be able to send their produce to markets more quickly and cheaply. Industries located inland will find it easier to import raw materials and export finished products. The knock-on effects on job creation, investment attraction, and regional development are expected to be significant. History has shown worldwide that wherever modern railways are built, economic corridors emerge along them. Ghana's planners are therefore optimistic that the Tema Mipakadan line will become more than just a transport link. It will become a catalyst for broader development. As construction neared completion, test runs were conducted on sections of the railway. Engineers, technicians, and government officials watched eagerly as locomotives rolled along the new tracks for the first time. These tests were more than symbolic. They were critical to ensuring that the railway met international safety and performance standards. The successful completion of these test runs provided reassurance that Ghana's investment was on track, literally and figuratively. It also gave a glimpse of the future when freight trains would carry goods across the country and beyond. The Tema Mpakadan Railway project must also be seen in the context of Ghana's broader railway master plan. The government has articulated an ambitious goal of building over 4,000 kilometers of railway network across the country. This includes the Western Railway line from Takoradi to Kumasi, the Eastern Railway line from Accra to Kumasi, and the central spine that will link the south to the north. While these plans are vast and require huge investments, the Tema Mpakadan line is a tangible starting point that demonstrates what is possible. It is a flagship project that can build momentum for other lines to follow. Looking to the future, the success of the Tema Mpakadan Railway project will depend not just on construction, but also on effective management and maintenance. Railways around the world have shown that without proper upkeep, infrastructure can deteriorate quickly. Ghana will therefore need to invest in building strong institutions, training skilled personnel, and ensuring transparent